Hey, how's everybody doing today? Uh, First off, I want to say thank you to everybody who's subscribed to my videos. Freedom Frog Gear, Casey Blade Drip, Jolly Peanut. You guys are great. You guys have been shouting me out, and I really do appreciate it. I'm going to be returning the favor to everybody. Those are all great channels. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. Um, Everybody's been real supportive since I've started this, which is really cool. I just started this for fun. To be honest, I didn't think anybody would watch my stuff, but who knew, right? So, took me from to surprise, but new little topic on the katana. Um, First off, I found my fencing foils. Did do a video of that on our camera. Wife went to edit it because she knows the program, and I forgot to turn my mic on, so there's no sound whatsoever. That really sucked. But oh well. Live and learn. Live and learn. But I was sitting here thinking, this kind of goes with what Jolly Peanut was asking. What would I grab if I had to go to battle? And the thing is, it's like when you're using a sword, does it matter if it's a katana, a European sword, whatever? A lot of times, you're not looking to cut limbs off, because if you look at historical European battles, the feudal wars of Japan, they all wore armor. So you're not getting past that. You're not cutting a limb off. So what did they do when they used a sword, even when they weren't wearing armor? Well, what they aim for when they use a katana, and in some European, I'm not 100% sure on that, is they aim to, your aim is to cut your opponent. Either really shallow cuts or very deep cuts. If you happen to get someone's finger off or whatever, then you did. But that's the main goal. And if you watch Iaido videos, like what we're taught, you use, actually, this is not a sharp one, this is my practice one. You use the Kasaki a lot, an awfully lot. The tip of the sword is what you use the most, with a few downward slashes, um, some stabbing motions, and really when you stab, what we're taught is only 3 inches of the blade, because reality, if you were to run this through somebody, I know it sounds gruesome, sorry guys, um, it would it would get stuck. You're not going to get it out of there. The name of this, a blood groove, is totally a misconception. It's just to, even in European swords, it's just to um, lighten the blade. That's all it does. So I'm gonna have to clean my blade too. I just noticed that. Damn. Anyways, we're taught to cut with the Kasaki because that's our cutting range right there. Is right in this area. This area is for controlling your opponent's blade, and then down here where it's the thickest is for blocking. So you would block with this portion depending on what your opponent is doing. The style of tension that I learned is, if we have, let's say, an opponent coming down, we'll take the blade like this and tuck our head in, because if, when his blade hits on that edge, it potentially can chip, and you don't want the metal flakes going in your eye. So what we do is we tuck our head down, but we can still see our opponent. So it's little things like that. But really, yeah, their main goal is to, because like I said, if you watch Iaido, is to cut you. That's it. Because I mean, a cut can be bad. We're taught even to basically, I don't have much room, but roll the sword if you're doing it one handed and then drop it on to a person's arm because that'll cut you. The way swords are designed, and it goes for European swords too as well, it doesn't take much to cut you. So it's, like I said, it's kind of like a follow-up to Jolly Peanuts question, what would you take into battle? You know, and it all goes to how you use a sword too, because believe it or not, trying to, cut limbs off will damage your edge. Bone will damage it. Even live bone, it'll chip it, dull it. It's just, it will. Bone is very tough. Our skin isn't. I mean, it's tough for what we need it to do, but against elements like that, it's not very tough. I mean, you could take like a pool noodle. I mean, put some like newspaper in the center or whatever, and make it stationary as much as you can. With a flat bottom, and just roll if you have a big knife or whatever, and then just drop it right on top of it. It's not the same as skin, but it kind of can simulate it, and just watch the blade just drop right in there. So, I mean, people have this idea that swords of any kind, whether it's a katana, a gross macer, you can just hack someone's limbs off and whatnot, whatever. But they're not actually, in reality, they're not trying to do that. They're trying to cut you. It's plain and simple. If you know where to cut somebody, it may not be a fatal cut, but it's going to stop them. Historically, too, people have been severely injured in battle with swords. Didn't even know, and then they just drop because they're so sharp. Sometimes you don't feel it. Like this, I barely, when I did this, when this happened on my pinky, it almost equated to like a paper cut. So I was like, oh, I can put a Band-Aid on it. No, 6 stitches later, and it was just that quick. So swords and knives are always fun to play with. They're always fun to play with. But the best thing that you could do too is, especially with swords, is really get a feel for what they're capable of doing, and knowing how to operate a sword. And each sword, I mean, like the katana is totally different from, and I used it earlier, gross macer. The only difference is with a katana, you don't hold it with your thumb and your forefinger, and you hold it like at an angle, like you're shaking somebody's hand almost, or holding a pistol. Now, I've seen some European people, they hold a European sword with all the fingers, but it's still in the same way. It's like a handshake grip. It's never a hammer fist grip. And then like ours, we don't. So I see some people, and not saying it's wrong, grip up to here, but if you grip just a little bit down past the fuchi, use that as a guide, you'll get more lateral movement out of the sword. There are instances you have to choke up all the way, especially if you're doing one-handed, because you're going to be able to make it more stout. But other than that, you'll get more function out of it if you leave just that little tiny gap right there. You'll get more function out of the blade. But thought I'd do a kind of a quick video on that, because I got people at work who always ask, "Oh, can't they do this? Can't they do that?" And, different things. And yeah, the sword can do it with limitations on some things, but really, in reality, you're trying to do as little as possible, but as much as you can, if that makes sense. You know. So like ours, we're even taught how to use it. I might do a video on this. You guys let me know in the comments if you want. Um, how to use the katana in a narrow space instead of just the wagasashi, which is I found kind of interesting. Because I mean it's a anywhere from 27 and a half, depending on what you have made, to 28-inch long blade. In narrow spaces that's kind of difficult to do, but you can do it. you know, so that's kind of cool. So you don't always have to rely on your wagasashi, and the movements will be the same. You can do the same movements with the wagasashi. So let me know, guys, if you want me to do a video on that, and I'll try and make up a makeshift phony hallway because we really don't have long hallways in this house. So if you can even call it a hallway. So that's all I have for you guys. And take it easy. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. Talk to you later.